All right, so let's do 32 and 26. All right, I'm not going to work these problems completely out, okay? Because once you do the first couple steps, everything's the same in regards to doing. Once you get to a certain point, I'm just repeating the same process, okay? So, but I did want to show you there are really three different types of problems with elimination. Well, you just did the first, where all you have to do is add and eliminate some variable. And then you have these two. I'm going to do 26 first. Okay, I probably should have did it on this side, but I'm going to do 26 first to show you the second type of problem. And then I'm going to show you the last type of problem. This is the hardest type of problem. Okay. The second type of problem is this type of problem, which if I just add right now, it's not going to eliminate anything. And so what I have to do is I have to take one of my equations and multiply it by something so that when I do add it afterwards, it changes or it eliminates a variable. So for instance, let's look at this. If I multiply this top equation here, let's get this out of the way. If I multiply this top equation by -2, let's try it. If I multiply everything by -2, what does that do? -2 times -5x is 10x. Okay. -2 times 4y is -8y. And -2 times -27 is 54. Okay. So all I did is I multiplied the top equation by -2, and I'm allowed to do that because I'm multiplying both sides by the same thing. So I'm not changing the equation. And so now if you look at it, all I did is I multiplied one equation by a constant. And now if you look at these two equations, I have a -10x here and a positive 10x here, which means if I add them, I'm now going to eliminate the x. So if I added these together, okay, I would get -10x plus 10x, which is 0, -y minus 8y, which is -9y, and then -18 plus, or not -18, positive 18 plus 54 is 72. Okay, and again, I'm not going to finish working out this problem. The only difference in what we did before is this first step. Okay, so know that some problems you will have to multiply by a constant before you add to eliminate. All right, excuse me. But let's look at 32. 32 is a little bit more difficult because you can't just multiply one equation by a constant so that you can add to eliminate. Okay, so for instance, there's nothing I can multiply by 6 to give me -10 so that I can add it to 10x. Okay, and there's nothing I can multiply by 10 except for a fraction, but let's not go there. Okay, there's nothing I can multiply by 4. Okay, so that I can get -7y to add it to 7y to get rid of it. Okay, but what I can do is what if I multiply, let me use the purple over here as well. What if I multiply this top equation by 4 and this bottom equation by -7? Okay, and you'll see why I did that in a minute. Okay, if I multiply this top equation by 4, I get 4 times 6x is 24x. 4 times 7y, 28y. Okay, and 4 times 19 is what? 76. All right, so I multiplied that times 4, and I'm multiply this bottom equation by -7. Okay, -7 times 10x is -70x. -7 times 4y is -28y. And -7 times 24 is 148. No, my goodness, 168. -168. I think. Okay, not that important. But anyway, so you'll have to calculate your test, so you won't have to worry about that. So, but if you look here, if you look at my y's now, I have a positive 28 and I have a -28 y. Okay, so that means I can add them and eliminate the y. And so basically what I did is I took one of my pairs and I multiplied the other equation by this number and this equation by this number, which will make them the same. Okay, but I made one of them negative so that when I add them, they'll eliminate. Okay, so again, these are the other two types of problems for elimination you will have. And then after this, we're going to stop this video, but then after this, I'm going to show you a trick for taking the test, which makes it really simple.